President Hawkins, Board of Directors, Executive Committee, faculty, staff, graduating class of 2022, friends, family, and guests, welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ashlea Rodriguez, and I'm pretty sure that we all have a story at Bellevue University. A story of support when we needed it, of guidance when we didn't have any, or of motivation when we lost ours, probably somewhere between midterms and finals. My story at Bellevue University started even before I was a student here. If we were to rewind time all the way back to the final term of my graduate degree, you would see me at my breaking point. After a decade of 8 military moves on 3 different continents and attending 4 different universities, I was in my final term to graduate. But my eager anticipation was shattered. Picture this, it is spring of 2020. The of the pandemic is our reality. I have a husband overseas for a year, 3 small children who went from learning their ABCs to learning how to attend elementary Zoom meetings, and the last credit I need is an internship. So I called up my academic advisor, I explained my situation, and he said, "Oh wow, that's rough. I wish you the best. Have you considered graduating in the winter term?" Did I mention I was using the military benefits I received for going to school as income? I was about 2 Google searches away from researching the proper way to wallow in self-pity, when instead, I stumbled upon the number for the Bellevue University Military Veterans Service Center. And my only inquiry was, can you help me find an internship that has the flexibility that all of these uncertain times require? So they asked me to come down to their campus, and honestly, I expected more surface reassurance about how unfortunate my situation was, which would have been really difficult to hear with the huge grins that were on the director and manager's faces. They asked me what the requirements were of my internship and said, we can work with that. They told me what their requirements were, and they asked if I wanted to do my internship there. I was beaming. I was so proud. I maybe even strutted a little bit as I walked across the stage on time, August of 2020, as the first college graduate of my family. And rather than let my anxiety fester about what I was going to do for employment, I turned to the Bellevue University staff for guidance. And you know what they said? Have you ever considered getting your graduate degree? If I would have been drinking something, I would have just accidentally spewed it all over them. I had worked very long and very hard to obtain what I thought was unobtainable. I did not have the courage to allow myself to climb higher. I was standing at the finish line, and these people were asking me to race again, or so it felt. My bewilderment was met with information. They explained how I could extend my military benefits. It would give the world time to calm down, my baby's time to adjust, and my husband time to come home. Just think about it, they said. Well, obviously, I enrolled in Bellevue University. I started to wear more purple and gold, and I even began as a work study. And this would have been a great time to end my speech and thank Bellevue University. However, the Bellevue University culture has a habit of not just wanting to educate their students, but to transform them into successful adults, to get them into the workforce, and to not let their journey end at a temporary finish line. Fast forward with me now to spring of 2022, just a few months ago, and I found myself in my final term of my graduate degree. Again, focused, very tunnel visioned on what I needed to do to suffice those remaining credits and fill the stage under my feet again. And this is where my testimony really takes flight. My manager, my superior, my role model, Heather, told me about that little button at the bottom of the Bellevue University homepage called employment. Within 2 weeks, I went from work study to staff member. My superior became my peer, and I hope that within my time here, I can become a role model for somebody who thinks their finish line is the end, so that I can experience the wonder of letting them know it's only the beginning of what comes next. But graduates, I know, this is a time of change, to reflect on being a student and to honor the sacrifices that we've made to be able to graduate today. And it's something that we're going to look back on as the end of a journey, because it's easier to rejoice in the glory of completion than it is to put our anticipation in the future of new beginnings and out of uncertainty. And we do need a moment to relish and savor and enjoy our accomplishments of today. But do not forget to look up, because this finish line is the start of another race. And spoiler alert, you're gonna win. Even if roadblocks slow you down, no matter your speed or the distance, and even if your path changes, you can still move forward. Ready? And the louder that your support cheers from the crowd. Thanks, support team. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, I still gotta talk. Thank you, support team. The more that victory, whatever that next victory looks like for you, will be waiting for you at that finish line, as I hope you're looking up to the next race. But wait. Research deems, and probably every Speech 101 class demands, that you put a quote in your speech to really cement that memorable lesson. And because I know a skinny girl on stage talking about running is the exact thing I would zone out to, here it is. The words of Dean Karnazes: run when you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, just never give up. And listen, as cliche as it is to never give up, the undeniable power that awakens our persistence in those most critical moments where we almost fail to see the scope of our potential is, I believe, as equally as important as our ability to gift that power to those who are surrounding us. I'd like to let you in on a personal confession of mine. I am, in fact, an emotional eater with a very fast metabolism, and I crave cheesecake or cinnamon rolls way more than I crave exercise, especially cardio. In fact, I would rather stay up all night cramming for finals every day for a week than imagine what it would feel like to push myself to run a marathon or to run around the block or any distance in between. But as I stand here today, exhausted from running on fumes, drained from devouring a forest full of textbooks, don't worry, the eco-friendly Kindle version types, of course, but nonetheless, completely fatigued from the relentless fleet of deadlines that I have had to endure, I know that even if I don't believe that I could do this all over again, there are people out there who see the potential in me to do even more. And so finally, I'll leave you with this. Remember. If you see somebody standing at their own finish line, looking down at their temporary mark of completion, will you please remind them, motivate them, better yet, inspire them to look up, because their next race is about to begin. So on your marks, get set, good luck. Thank you.